What's up, gamers? Have you ever wanted to up your status and become a pro gamer? Because recently I have, but to do that, I've realized I need to understand the whole esports scene. You see, back when gaming was first getting popular, making money from playing video games was out of the question. One of the first tournaments hosted in 1972 didn't even have a cash prize of any kind, but instead gave out a 12-month subscription to Rolling Stone magazine. Though in context it makes sense, as they were competing for high scores at a time when video games were just different sized white dots and lines moving on a black screen. Things started getting real in the 80s as the first major esports event was held by Atari for the game Space Invaders, with more than 10,000 participants showing up. Things obviously didn't stop there though, as games such as Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and a few others had gamers competing for high scores nationwide. This helped to create one of the first pro gamers out there, Billy Mitchell, who would never ever cheat because he is so cool.
How could you have lied to me?
Due to the aforementioned high score based system, Twin Galaxies was founded by Walter Day in late 1981. It was meant to act as a database of sorts for over 100 different arcades, an attempt to officialize the high scores of the various games there. Along with this, the game show Starcade was made in late 1982, in which gamers compete for cumulative high score in games and video game trivia. The winners of the show were awarded their own arcade cabinets and a few other prizes. The UK got a similar show, but it was instead called First Class, with the premise of the show being basically the same thing. At the end of the decade and the start of the 90s, Nintendo held the Nintendo World Championships, which toured across the states, having gamers in 3 separate age groups play different segments of Mario, Tetris, and Rad Racer back to back for high scores in an attempt to win prizes, such as a gold version of the cartridge used for the tournament. The 24 gold cartridges that were given out to the winners of the tournaments now sell for a lot, with one being sold for $100,000 in 2014. A similar event was also held in 1994, but this time for the Super Nintendo and was called Power Fest. Competing for high scores is good and all, but I want real head-to-head action, player versus player competition. So to do that, we need to look at 1991. This is when Street Fighter II was released to the public, and it's a huge landmark title, for not just fighting games, but gaming as a whole, as you no longer have to take turns. Now you can actually play against someone and prove that you're better than them in every way. Or you can just use the same move over and over and over again. Either way is fine. Not only that, due to its immense success, it helped to lay the groundwork for every single PvP game to come, which is a pretty big deal when talking about esports. Then with Doom in 1993, first-person shooters were born, which is pretty big on its own right, but because of its deathmatch mode, we can now play this shit online. Say goodbye to playing against the weird kids at your school only. Now you can play against really anybody with an internet connection. And yeah, it may have not been fully realized at the time, but when Quake rolled around, it became huge, leading into the first online tournament, Red Annihilation, which had over 2,000 people compete online in 1-to-1 deathmatches, with the 16 finalists playing at E3, which people could spectate online in the game itself. Then the winner won the creator of Doom and Quake, John Carmack's car, as a prize. Along with that, these games and tournaments opened the door to huge competitive games down the road, like Halo, Call of Duty, CSGO, etc. Going back to 1996, Evolution Championship Series, or EVO, was made. Originally called Battle by the Bay, it hosted both Super Street Fighter II Turbo and Street Fighter Alpha 2. EVO is probably the biggest fighting game tournament now and has helped esports to grow immensely. Overall, the 90s is the most influential period for esports due to online gaming being born and genres like fighting games and shooters evolving. The 2000s did not fail in the slightest though, as this is when we started to see those big games I mentioned earlier start to appear, with the most important one being Halo. As when consoles caught up and got online play, MLG became the first televised esports league, starting with Halo 2 in 2006 and continuing on with it eventually moving over to Halo 3. CSGO was also huge, as it has had the second highest total prize pool for esports games and has had almost 6,000 total tournaments for the game. Then with YouTube and live streaming platforms, it became incredibly easy to show off what a pro gamer you are. Or with YouTube and Twitch, as long as you're entertaining, you can still make money without being super good at games. Overall, esports is huge now due to all of these factors, which means events like the League of Legends World Championships can have 43 million viewers in 2016 and 60 million in 2017, beating both the MLB and NFL, which is huge. I mean, the Olympic Committee has left open the possibility for esports to become Olympic events. Some universities and colleges have begun offering athletic scholarships to esports players and consider them varsity athletes. Stadiums now sell like it's nothing for esports events, and because of this, the cash pools are huge. For example, the Fortnite World Cup had a total cash pool of $100 million, with the winner Booga, a 16-year-old mind you, taking home $3 million. And because of this, charities that are supported by esports events can now raise millions to help people. So at this point, it might as well be looked at the same level as professional sports. With all of this considered, becoming a pro gamer seems like a lot of work and commitment, and I'm pretty lazy. So maybe I'll just stick to stupid Nintendo games for now.